I was excited for Palmer, but was Justin Timberlake going to bring sexy back? You know how long I've been waiting for another Justin Timberlake movie to say that? Long time. Let's do it. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Palmer is coming to Apple TV Plus on January 29th. I had a chance to screen it about a week and a half back. I cannot wait to talk about it. I need you in the comments down below. Are you a fan of Justin Timberlake? Did you like the trailer? I liked it. Thought it was good. Okay, let's do it. So after 12 years in prison, former high school football star Eddie Palmer returns home to put his life back together and forms an unlikely bond with Sam. Sam, played by writer Alan, is kind of an outcast kid from a troubled home. Eddie's past is threatening to ruin his new life, his family, relationships with certain individuals, and thus we have our extremely dramatic and emotional journey at times, and a movie that, again, I was just really excited about because I saw that trailer and said, you know what, this could be really, really good. And while Justin Timberlake, I believe, does give a good performance in this movie, his character doesn't necessarily get as much to do as I had hoped for, because we can look at the performance side of things and say, yeah, he did exactly what he was told to do, but what he was told to do, in my opinion, made for a bit of a weaker character than I had hoped for, than anticipated, and one that kind of just moseys his way through the movie, grunts a bit, doesn't have much to say, especially through the first half. We do get a look at his past, and he starts to open up, I guess, as a character in the second half, and that's what the story trajectory is, because once he meets the character of Sam, that's when his world begins to change, and it really is a sweet bond. And I have to say, even though Justin Timberlake was good, could have been better, I blame the script more so than anything, I believe the real highlight of the film is writer Alan as Sam, because this kid is so likable. He starts out, and I was thinking to myself, he's kind of towing the line of being, you know, the young kid that may start to become annoying after a while if things become repetitive, but thankfully, once you learn more about him and you understand where his character comes from and the drama behind his living situation, that's when you really open up to him and you start to think, yeah, I like this character. He's a sweet kid. He's a kid that means well, but he's also a kid that's going through some things, whether it be bullying or individuals around him in this town not necessarily understanding him. That's when you really start to relate to that character. And honestly, halfway through the movie, I cared maybe a bit more about that story than I did Justin Timberlake's story. But when they start to intertwine and you realize what kind of man Palmer is, that's when I started to thoroughly enjoy this relationship. And it's that dynamic. Predictable dynamics around them aside, you can start to discover, oh, well, here's the love interest. Here's this character. Here's what this friend is going to turn into. Predictability is an issue in this movie, absolutely. But it's those two that come across as really sweet on screen. And Justin Timberlake, say what you will about the character, he sells that and does a great job. And that semblance of a heartbeat that comes with that relationship doesn't really come until the halfway point of the story. The first half of the story is fine. There are a few things that happen, one moment in particular, that caught me off guard. And I said, you know what? This is good. Let's build off of that. And thankfully we do. But prior to that, it's almost like they took every movie cliche from this type of movie and just inserted them all throughout the first act, halfway through the second act. And we continue to get cliches, but at least they're displayed in a way that builds character in the second half of the film. And that's where it really turned me around, when this relationship started to bloom, when we really get an idea of what this story is, and we learn more about Palmer and learn who he is turning into, and that's what sold me on the film. And I got what Fisher Stevens, the director, was going for. I really did. But unfortunately, the simplicity of the film and the repetitive nature of the storytelling, and not just the storytelling, but the score that comes in the background and plays the same exact thing over and over and over, it does start to become a repetitive story as a whole, and that's where it started to lose me, to be honest. But you know what? It has heart. It absolutely has heart that shines through and manages to compensate with the rest of the story. When Eddie and Sam are on screen together working off of each other, the movie is exactly what we wanted it to be from the trailer. So at the end of the day, first off, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you like these reviews and you want to drop that thumbs up, let me know. Way more to come this weekend. I'm covering Sundance. It's going to be fun. Palmer manages to work through its messy script and showcase an emotional story with a sweet conclusion. As for my score, going right at that fresh mark, a 62%. It's not necessarily a movie that I'm going back to watch over again, but it's one that when you're done with it and you look back on this story, you're going to say, that was sweet. A sweet story with a sweet conclusion, and I do like Justin Timberlake. It's different seeing him in a lead role like this. I wanted to see a bit more from him, but again, I don't necessarily blame him for that. I blame the script more so. You guys are the best. Let me know down below. Are you watching this on Apple TV Plus this weekend? Did you enjoy this movie? All right, I'm going to go listen to some Justin Timberlake tunes. Got a nice little playlist set up for myself. I'm lying. I just made that up.